Imagine you do the hard part of attracting a girl and you finally bring her back to your place, you go up to your room, and then you just don't really know how to escalate from here. You don't know how to get physical. She's getting impatient, she's starting to think that you're one of those beta males, one of those Jeffreys. And she dreams about the kind of man who is so utterly confident and masculine. Not knowing how to escalate or start like physical touching with women. It's a very common problem that a lot of young men have. And honestly, I was 100% there. I've literally, you know how I started this video saying, okay, well, you brought a girl back and stuff and you just don't know how to go from there, bro. I have had that experience with maybe 10, 15 girls where I bring them back and I've done the hard part, maybe I kiss them in the club, but as soon as you kind of like get back into your own bedroom, you just kind of don't really know how to escalate from here. You know, you're Netflix and chilling and you've done the whole arm thing, and now like, you know, she's actually watching the movie and like I'm not, and I'm just thinking, when can I go for a kick? I could like, can I just turn around and kiss her right now? Should I wait? Not being able to be physical in general, but especially with like women that you want to be with, it really fucks up your mind. It is a very, very like demasculating thing to experience. So I hope that we can overcome that with some advice that I can give you in this video. I don't think you need me to tell you that being physical is very important. There was like studies, I remember reading this. If your first impression in someone included some caliber of physical touch, so whether it was a handshake, it was like a fist bump, a hug, or if, you know, you were speaking to them and you gently just kind of like tap them like this, or you touch their arm or something, that person is way more likely to like you. We just like people that we've been, you know, a little bit physical with. If you kind of meet someone and it's just like a stationary, like, and we've not touched each other, we're not even handshaking or anything, it's like we don't have that great of a level of trust with them. Just today, I was actually aware of this. There's a guy named Jack who has like his own sort of like fitness business, and he came to my Muay Thai session. I've seen him a few times, and his friend had showed him my videos. Now he started watching my videos too. Fucking sick guy. Me and him sparred. He's massive as fuck, so we sparred in Muay Thai. And I noticed that as me and him were talking, like we kept on like touching each other in like a very like friendly, brotherly way. Like we'd make a joke and we'd like tap each other like this. And it's like you automatically feel way more comfortable and way more like attracted to someone where you can be physical with them like that. That's so important to not be held back. So how do you go from a guy who doesn't do that at all, especially not with women, and actually naturally start doing it? Because I definitely was on the far end of the spectrum where I literally was like that kind of awkward guy. I didn't know what, like, you know, how to touch girls or anything. I remember like, it's kind of vulgar, but I remember like verbally asking for permission to like become more intimate with girls. And I know that this is what the modern day like #MeToo like type of Twitter girls will tell you. Yep, like verbally ask for consent, bro. No girl is ever gonna find you sexy when you say some shit like that. You've got to almost like go with it with some level of like intuition. And that's really the first piece of advice I can give you. You need some understanding of like social intuition, social intelligence. You need to kind of like just be able to pick up from someone. Is this someone who would be receptive to my touch? Because some people won't be. And the truthful but kind of way to find out about this is go and try it. Go and like, you know, you need to build up this like catalog of experiences of like times when you've tried to be a little bit more physical, a little bit more forward, a little bit more escalating with someone, and it didn't work, and it didn't work. And then your brain starts processing, okay, so when someone, you know, has this kind of body language, obviously this is like subconscious, but when someone has this kind of body language, when someone looks at you this kind of way, that means that if you did go and touch them, they might not be receptive to it. But if someone's got this kind of body language, this kind of like, you know, facial expression when they talk to you, this kind of vocal tonality, and you touch them, you'll find that they're really receptive to you as well. I took a second before making this video and I was like, I don't really know what advice to give here, because it's kind of like, I don't consciously know either. I can't tell you there's like a hard rule, okay, you can do this, because you need to experience it for yourself. You need to have like that catalog of like of experiences. You need to have that history with like trying to be like a little bit more intimate, a little bit more physical, a little bit more affectionate with a bunch of girls. And then as you experience things, some girls aren't receptive, some girls are, some guys are, some guys aren't. You start to kind of build up this picture of like, okay, you know, it's subconscious, so you're not gonna have these clear thoughts, but it's like, oh, well, yeah, this person right here seems receptive, so I could go with a little like pat on the arm as I make a joke or something. Because I can stand here and try and give you that conventional advice. Well, if someone's got this kind of body language, or if someone looks at you in this way, and it's not going to help you, you'll watch the video and it'll be so sick. Like, you'll watch the video, this video will get like really high view retention if I said, okay, you can touch a girl if she has her feet like this, and if she touches her neck like this, that means that she's really into you. You'd watch it and I would get so many views and the video would do so well. But it's like, bro, anyone who makes a video like, oh, well, you know, this is the body language that means that she will sleep with you tonight, bro. 13 ways that, shut the fuck up, bro. 13 ways to know that women are holding interest in you. Indicators, shut the fuck up. Anyone who makes these like quick, like, you know, specific thing, like if a girl touches her neck while she talks to you, that means that she'll fuck you tonight, bro. It's not gonna help you. Me telling you, okay, well, there's 10 things, you know, and if she has her feet like this, and if she does this, and if she does this, it's gonna overcomplicate in your brain. And now you're not gonna be present when you're actually going about these interactions. The best case scenario, you go into these situations with this open, observing kind of mindset where you just kind of like ask yourself common sense is like, does this person seem like receptive, and are you receptive towards it? We can always say like, is she receptive, is he receptive, but do you like them? Do you actually want to connect with them in a better way? Because chances are, you know what, I can make this video about them, but I think it's so much more empowering to talk about you and just ask you, if you want to connect with this person, then shoot your shot. And one of the easiest, fastest, most natural way for us to connect is with physical touch. And if you don't really want to connect with this person, if you want to connect with them out of insecurity or out of inferiority, you know, it's a girl, so I'll happily connect with her because it's a girl, and instead of actually thinking, okay, well, is this a good girl? Is this a girl that I actually want to connect with? If you ask yourself those questions, do like some kind of quick mental evaluation of this person in front of you and think, you know what, yeah, this is kind of like a sick guy, I want to connect with him more, so let's proceed with that. So one of the ways that I can connect with him more is to tell jokes and laugh and be a little bit touchy and like, you know, like push him when he tells a joke or something. We grow through that, you know, because I just said, okay, push him when he tells a joke or something. I literally just thought, okay, we sparred, bro. My fucking leg hurts because that prick fucking kicked me hard, bro. There has been formed our sense of brotherhood. And I got a few good fucking hits on him. Maybe we'll put up the clips so you can see our spar today. And I'm not gonna lie, dude's done like some fights before. He's practiced for like 1 or 2 years. And I was hitting him in some like low kicks and everything. I was doing quite well. We grow through some kind of physical touch, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like intimate and sexual, but we do grow through that. It's very important to just open up this part of your life, and I can give you all those specific things that's going to make you overthink. I don't think it's going to be helpful. You know, one of the easiest things I think that I can tell you right now that's going to help you, just keep this in mind. Just keep in mind, okay, oh yeah, proceed with more physical touch than usual and kind of like evaluate how it goes and learn from it. But let me give you some examples of times, especially with women as well. So the last girl that I've spoke to here, she was in a cafe. I think I spoke about this story in just a previous video we had. Me and my friend Nabil were in a cafe, and there's a girl there that I like tell him, oh bro, like I'm really attracted to her. She looks like a girl that I've previously been with like 3 years ago, who was a good friend of mine. I'm just kind of like, you know, looking at her a little bit, but I'm thinking, oh, it's not really socially acceptable to like go up to her in a cafe. She's got her earphones in right now and stuff, so I'm not really gonna do it. Maybe hopefully it'll get easy, hopefully like she'll make eye contact with me soon, but she didn't at this point. And so I'm just, you know, thinking about other things, but also thinking about her. And then my friend Nabil stands up, he's gonna leave the cafe early. I've got to stay to like upload these videos because the internet in the village kind of shit, so I'm just gonna stay there. And he kind of stands up and he says, bro, before you leave, go and approach a girl. I take it as a challenge, okay? Before he leaves. He's already stood up to leave. I'm like, okay, before he leaves, go and approach a girl. I was literally sat there. I stood the fuck up, walked directly to this girl. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. Got a little bit anxious, and so walked past her, pretended got my phone out. So she was sat, like, imagine she's sat here, I'm sat here, and this cafe has like a sea view over here. So I walk towards her, going to speak to her, but then I walk past her, take my phone out, pretend I'm like recording the sea view, like, oh my god. Then I turn backwards and see that she has a book on her table. So I go up and walk past her and say, oh, Atomic Habits. And she doesn't hear me. So it's a little bit awkward, obviously, but then I kind of stop there and go like, yo, excuse me. And she looks at me and, you know, straight away, with that kind of opener of like, okay, excuse me. Just within a split second, I knew she was receptive. Just within a split second. And you know what? I can give you all this, like, oh, personality is important stuff, bro. The amount of times that I've told you that physical attractiveness is one of the most important parts of life. A lot of people say this is shallow. Like, you know, the sophisticated, clean shirt motherfuckers. They'll say that this is shallow. This is really shallow to think about attractiveness. Bro, it's one of the most important parts of life. Your physical attractiveness is one of the most important parts of life. I've said this multiple times, especially then your physique, because your physique makes up 90% of your attractiveness. If your head, obviously, like, your face is more in view and your face is used in like pictures and stuff, just by a singular glance, we know if we're attracted to a girl, even if you can't see her face, just by the shape of her body. Why? Because we're attracted to this hourglass shape, because it evolutionarily signals fertility. But really, we just fucking love this shape in a woman. So when we see a woman with that shape, even from the distance, we know we're attracted to her. Women, when they see a man with this shape of his upper body, automatic attraction. Now, of course, yeah, well, Hamza, like, I'm a woman and I really like that. Of course there's outliers. Of course there's girls who don't like muscle. Of course there's girls who really like skinny guys or who really like fat guys. Of course there's gonna be some, but generally, this is what women are attracted to, straight women, and this is what straight men are attracted to in terms of body shape. It's very important. And so when I said, excuse me, for the second time, and she looked at me, within a second, bro, I could tell that she was like, there was some kind of receptibility there. So then I said, oh, like Atomic Habits. And she's like, oh yes, like I've been reading it to practice my English. And I said, what's one of the things that you've learned so far? And she seems to find that question quite interesting. So she says like, oh, well, the importance of setting, she didn't know the terms, but she said like the importance of like setting, she did something like this. She's not from Thailand or from like the UK or anything, in English is like a second language that she's like trying to get better at. So she didn't really know, but then I said, oh, setting systems over goals. And she said, oh yes, you've remembered it, you've read the book. And so we speak there, and kind of like, so she's like sat at the table, so I kind of like crouched down, literally end up having like a whole like 1 minute conversation with her. And then when I ask for her name, that's when I like, okay, it's the start of the physical touch, and I just go with the handshake. Boom. So that's like level 1. At the very least, when you're telling someone your name, you're telling a woman or a guy, go with the handshake, go with the fist bump, go with something there. I could have escalated more there. I could have like, been, as we say something in a conversation, I laugh or something like this. I could have done it, but like maybe that would have been a little bit forced. This felt very natural to me that, okay, when we're gonna say our names, I'm gonna hold a hand like this, and also not like, pull it back fast or anything. I always, when I'm handshaking a girl, I pretty much hold it there and do like a little bit of this. This is sexy as fuck, bro. So I'm holding a hand and I do this with my thumb. Like that. This is sexy as fuck. And it's also, I don't pull away. I kind of see how fast they pull away. So some girls will shake my hand, pull away kind of fast, and it's like, that's one of those minute subconscious things that like, maybe they're not very receptive of me, whereas other girls will literally hold my hand for as long as I want to hold it, and she was one of these. Then the next day I invite her to go and like see a sunset, and then there's more like physical touching, there's more like, okay, I go straight up, I hold her hand and everything, then we're like walking, and so like here's some like small things, and this isn't like, oh well, guys, I went on a date, but this is like small things that I can sort of remember what happened. We're walking through the beach, and as she says something, I kind of like put my hand on her back for like a split second there. Then we sit down on the sand, and I'm kind of like leaning back, like with one elbow on the floor, leaning back, and she's kind of like sat upright. And as she says something, I just kind of like do this to her arm, like something like this. It's like, that's fine. And actually the first girl that I saw whilst I was in Thailand, that's actually something that we did. We went to a different beach, and I remember just kind of like fully not holding back with my affection whatsoever, because me and this other girl connected quite well. And so I feel like I'm getting confused. This girl. I'm trying not to be a slut, bro. So this other girl, we're on the same beach, but at a different time. And pretty much the same dynamic. Yeah, I'm laying back, but this other girl would be kind of like, oh, I feel like a dick. Oh, this other girl, and this one, and this one, and this one. I was affectionate, and I don't really hold back on my affection. And I think that's one of the things that you can start to practice. If you want, like, obviously, have the awareness. Don't be a fucking weirdo. Don't just start touching a girl that you don't even like, or that doesn't like you. But generally, if you've asked a girl on a date, and you're an attractive guy, you're well put together, and she's like receptive to you, you've hugged each other and everything, bro, it's absolutely fine that when someone's saying something, that for you to just kind of like touch their arm like this. Like, this is obviously like, you have to connect a little bit first. And I think me and this other girl, we kissed first on the beach. So I'm not talking about the one from the cafe, but a different girl. We kissed first on the beach. Then we sat down and stuff. And then as we're sat down and she's like talking about life or something, I'm like literally just like stroking her back, something like this. And it's like, it's absolutely fine. We connected really well there. If I was like, proper cold, and we have to discuss, I wasn't really going to talk about it, but we have to absolutely discuss that kind of dynamic of like catching a case as a guy. Because I could sugarcoat around the situation, but really one of the main reasons why you feel like you can't be intimate, why you can't be affectionate, why you can't really go for physical touch is because of that fear of like getting a fucking accusation made about you, which is really sad, because connecting with people is one of the most important parts of life, and we're holding back, especially as like men, as a whole gender these days, we're holding back because we might catch a fucking case if we like accidentally touch the wrong girl and everything. There's different ways to go about this. So one of them could be, okay, stay ultra safe, stay safe, ask for verbal consent. Bro, I'm telling you right now, like, that's what's conventionally the good advice. I'm telling you right now, the girl that you ask for verbal consent, can I touch you, can I kiss you, bro, you're not gonna do anything with her. She's gonna think that you're a fucking wimp. She's gonna think it's kind of weird that you're asking for it, and she's sleeping with guys, she's dating guys, she's touching guys, she's getting like fucked by guys who aren't asking for fucking verbal consent. So it's like, you can go with that soft, safe route if you want, but it's embarrassing personally. And that's the truth. I know this is like unconventional, this is controversial what I'm saying, and like a bunch of Twitter people will like hate me for this, and they'll say like, no, look, he's a rapist, he just said not to get consent. I'm not saying not to get consent, I'm saying don't like weirdly ask like, oh, can I touch you, can I kiss you please, is it okay if I kiss you? No girl has, loud ass plane, bro, I'm telling you right now, no girl has ever fantasized about like some Chad look, some hot guy asking for consent. No girl that's ever like dreamt or like read an erotica book and then the masculine guy with bulging veins asked, please may I have sex with you? No one fucking thinks like that, bro, apart from these like little Twitter girls. Real world is not like that. You don't need to like specifically like, can I touch your arm please? Is it okay if we hold hands? You're gonna come across as like a little wimp. It's the truth. And I know it's like, it's a little bit risky then, but it is the fucking truth. You're gonna come across as like a little wimp if you do something like that. So the way that you should go about it is to have this level of social intelligence where you don't risk, you're not acting like a weirdo. You're not like, like touching girls who don't want to be touched. But you need to have that awareness of, okay, does she want to be touched? Would she be receptive to my touch? And you do it in a way that if, for example, she wasn't, it's not like a court case. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't necessarily spend time with a girl and think, oh, you know, play it safe. I don't think like that, because I already have that catalog of experiences of wisdom to kind of subconsciously, automatically know what would be appropriate or inappropriate. Now, if you've already got a bunch of experience, you don't really need to hear this. But chances are you're watching this and you don't have that many experiences with women, especially not like being intimate with a new girl in public. And so this is where it can get tricky, because I'm gonna be totally honest, I made a lot of mistakes when I was younger. I was 18 years old, and sometimes like I'd go in for the kiss at the wrong moment and it'd be awkward and a girl didn't want to kiss me. But of course I didn't act weird with that. Does that make sense? So it's like, I can't think of a specific example, but let's imagine I'm 18 years old, I'm on a date or I'm on a night out and I go for a kiss and a girl like looks at me a bit weird or something. I didn't just get angry at her. I didn't like, you know, try and fucking grab her by the fucking skull and like start gouging her eyes whilst going for a kiss. Of course not. It's like, obviously it's embarrassing when if you go in for a kiss and the other person isn't receptive and they fucking do some like Muay Thai clinch to fucking defend themselves. You just go like, oh, sorry, boom, boom. That's it. That's simple. No, I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. That can still happen these days. It doesn't happen that much because often when I go in for the kiss, it's kind of like I know that she wants to kiss me now because I have that. Like, I'm not trying to sound like a dick. Oh, I know about girls, but it's after a certain amount of like times you've kissed a girl or you've had sex, you kind of understand these things subconsciously. And if you aren't at that point with that catalog of experiences, you need to just get those experiences. And of course some of them are going to be those awkward moments when you go in for some kind of physical touch or a kiss or like a hug or something and it just feels a little bit awkward. I can't tell you the amount of times I speak to guys who are like at the starting point of their dating lives and they ask me like these specific questions of like, oh well, when I see her, what do I do? And they'll come back to and, you know, tell me how like the date went with this random girl, and they're like, oh yeah, it was really awkward because like I went to go see her and we both didn't know if we should like, so we both, you know, like didn't know whether they should hug when they see each other or not. So they kind of like, imagine you meet a girl, here you are, and you just kind of like stop there and you're like, oh hi, yeah, should we go to the bar now? And that reminds me of this one time that I went to see like this girl from Tinder like months ago, and it was already in my mind, yeah, I'm gonna hug her, of course I am. So it's like, I could have, you know, waited and like seen what she wants to do and let her lead the initial interaction. But I kind of see her from afar and we know it's, you know, I put my hand up so she knows it's me. I walk up to her and literally like open my arms out nice and wide. We hug quickly and then go into like the bar or something that we were going to. Because I already had this like mental perception of, okay, what I was planning to do, what would be socially conventional. Okay, I'm meeting this girl for a date, so I'm going to go in for a hug. I'm not going to go in for, you know, a big bear hug and like hold her there and like, I love you so much. It was more like a one-handed kind of like hug like this and like, oh yeah, look, come on, let's go this way. And I think the one final thing we can talk about is your frame, your attitudes, your beliefs. What are literally the thoughts that you're having in your mind before you go for that like physical touch, affection, kiss, hug, whatever? Because if you're thinking, oh, well, you know, I'm gonna try and hug her, but she might find it weird. She's probably gonna find it weird now. But if you've got this mind frame of like, yep, I'm gonna go see this girl for a date, I'm gonna hug her because that's what's the normal thing to do. I've got to pre-clarify this in cases you didn't know, like this is gonna seem kind of weird, but it's like whatever thought you have in your mind, bro, it creates the objective truth for the world. It's kind of interesting. It'd take me a whole video to explain this. Whatever thoughts, like words that process in your mind literally become the truth for your world. So if you, for example, think, oh, well, I'm a loser, well, yep, you're objectively a loser. If you start thinking, yep, I'm a loser, but I'm on the pursuit of becoming a winner, well, then everyone else will accept that too. If you think, okay, I'm gonna meet this girl, but I don't know if I should handshake, should I go for the kiss, should I, then you're gonna come across that way. But if you have that solid frame in mind, I'm gonna meet this girl, I'm gonna go for the hug, and I'm gonna grab her by the hand, and we're gonna go into the bar, that's gonna seem as normal. So make sure you think on your side, make sure you believe and have these attitudes that serve you instead of don't. So it's an automatic thing for me at this point. But for example, with the experiences with the girls that I've just told you about, it's kind of like my brain automatically would have said to me like, yep, like touch her back. Yep, go in for the kiss now. I know that this is like a normal time to do it. And if even on the weird chance that, you know, I had picked up the wrong signals and I go in for the kiss and a girl like, you know, fucking retracts back and tries to like fucking elbow block me or something, then I kind of like can also take that quite well. And so this is the final thing we should talk about. Just fucking take the rejection well, because we're afraid. You click on this video and you've watched so far. Let's just be fucking honest. Don't lie. Don't. Oh, I'm not afraid of it. You're afraid of rejection, you're afraid of looking like a weirdo. That's the exact reason why you've watched this video so far. You're afraid of rejection and you're afraid of looking like a weirdo or a creep. So don't come off as one. And even if you do, let's say worst case scenario, the girl retracts and like, you know, looks at you like you're a little bit of a weirdo. The simplest thing you can just do is, oh, I'm sorry. Boom, that's it. If you try and, you know, get aggressive and like, well, but I thought if I could kiss you, I thought you wanted to. Shut the fuck up. Oh, I'm sorry. Boom. I can't tell you the amount of times where like I've escalated with a girl and she like stopped for a bit. I could have been weird. I thought you wanted to have sex with me, you know? I'm like, oh, sorry, boom. Sometimes I won't even apologize for it. This happens often when you're about to like sleep with a girl for the first time and she can feel like some nerves and, you know, she's like a bit unsure and stuff. And so a lot of guys will like push past and say, well, why not? But I thought we were gonna have sex. Why are you saying no now? Like, we're already in my bed and stuff. I remember this one specific time with this girl that we were about to have sex for the first time and she wanted to like just, you know, she was like, oh wait, I'm unsure. So I just said, oh yeah, no worries. And I literally, all I did was, bro, I grabbed the water bottle and just started drinking and gave it to her. Then we just kind of like, you know, moved away from like a sexual position, talked and stuff, and then re-escalated like 5-10 minutes later when she was a lot more comfortable. You have to have this sense of almost like compassion for the other person and think, oh, well, you know, by her ducking away, by her saying, oh, wait, I'm not comfortable. It's like, yeah, well, I don't want to do it if you're not comfortable. That's the whole point. This is a bonding experience. It's like a connecting experience for both of us. So if you see a level of discomfort or agitation or you know, some kind of like held backness in the other person, well then hold back yourself, have some standards for yourself and think, you know what, well, I don't want to kiss someone who doesn't want to kiss me. I don't want to have sex with someone who doesn't want to have sex with me. You can subscribe to our channel if you want to. Welcome to the cult. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.